Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at how exactly goblins work in the light novel series and the anime by the name of Overlord. For while goblins are far spread throughout the fantasy world, they tend to be portrayed in a very specific way, which isn't the case here at all. But before we going to gawk at the muscle-packed boys the goblins are in this world, let's take a look at my Patreons and thank them for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Thanks guys. Now with that said, I'm going to give you a very short overview where the goblin archetype comes from. Originally, goblins meant just the twisted creatures that lived deep under the misty mountains. For all intents and purposes, they were just orcs by another name in Tolkien's world. They were not even their own species, they were just twisted elves, and they were also portrayed in a very negative light. They were bad-hearted, wicked and cruel, ever since their dark baptism by the hand of evil. And the only thing that really differentiated them from the orcs were that they were just a bit short, but then again, the name of orc and goblin were used almost interchangeably, and a lot has changed since then. In other fantasy worlds, especially in Warhammer, this weakness of the goblins had been greatly, rather disproved upon, since goblins are now the literally and figuratively punching bag of the orcoid race, for the orcs, who are bigger and stronger in particular. And this negative trait has spread throughout most fantasy universes. Goblins are often portrayed as dim-witted, evil, feral creatures of low intelligence and evil at their heart. And in Goblin Slayer, they are the central antagonist of the entire anime. For all intents and purposes, they were just low-level orcs. And with all of that said, it's really good to see how different the goblins in Overlord are. Instead of them being just the naturally evil race of cowards and cruel monsters, they are just another civilization. And I mean this in the most literal sense possible. They form very different societies based on their own numbers, their own knowledge, and the habitat in which they dwell. For example, the goblins living in the Forest of Top are a subject species most of the time to the much larger ogres, who in turn owed their allegiance to either the giant of the east or the serpent of the west. But simultaneously, there also exists a goblin civilization that is apparently more or less on the same level as the other human civilizations in this world, namely that they are a kingdom. And judging from the fact that there is mention of a goblin king that not only had fought dragons, the more or less strongest species in the entire New World, and frequently won, but also wielded a mysterious ashen branch, it could very well be that this goblin was in fact a player, just like Ainz Ol Gown, and that his kingdom is more or less comparable to the slain theocracy, humanity's strongest all-human nation. Now with that said, humanity is also seen as a weak species by the standards of the New World. But it is still something, and furthermore, the goblins are actually able to live without the heritage the players, or rather the supposed player, has left behind, albeit in a primitive form and as a subject species. Basically just like the humans living in the Minotaur kingdom. But still, they are more suited to the life in the New World than actual humans are. First and foremost, they appear to have a very high fertility rate. Basically, they can get away with being small and weak, because there are so many of them that inevitably enough goblins will reach the age of maturity to procreate themselves, even though they are preyed upon by everyone and everything. Second of all, they can see in low light environments, and therefore they are able to be active throughout the entire day without being basically blind, half of the time like we humans are. And third, and this is perhaps the best quality, just like us humans, goblins can grow and learn. While Enri's very own goblins were summons created by Yggdrasil magic, a goblin or rather a hobgoblin, that lived naturally in the New World, displayed the same intellectual and social capabilities like the rest of the goblins. Which brings us to their societies. Just like human societies, goblin societies are incredibly varied, just like we humans form bands of raiders and ambushers, as seen in the third light novel, with the death-spreading brigade. The goblins can also form warbands, as seen in the second light novel, where Ainz slayed the ogres, while the Swords of Darkness mainly dealt with the goblins. And even these goblin raiders merely reacted to the disturbance of the power balance in the forest. And last but not least, the goblins, even the natural-born ones, were able to integrate themselves into the wider society of the Sorcerer Kingdom, especially in Karen, which by all accounts should be now considered a city. So in essence, the goblins in the New World, while being generally considered weaker than humans, still also hold some distinct advantages like low-light vision, and they are just as capable of building civilizations of malice and good like us humans are. They are not good, they are not bad, they simply are, and they become as good and as bad as society, habitat and food supply allows them to be. In conclusion, Overlord not only implements goblins as another cliché stand-in for something that it is okay to kill, because it is inherently evil, but as a complex species with complex societies on its very own, which adds so much to the overall world building and the genuine feel of this fantasy world. Also, goblins are now sexy, deal with it. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yee, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia II, Phil Ralshivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Hustler, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Texas Deer, the Orc War Boss, Rock at Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Zonegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.